Hello, Dr. K. Aloha here. I want to introduce you to EFT, or Emotional Freedom Technique. Now, Emotional Freedom Technique is about reprogramming your subconscious, reprogramming your reactions to things, stressful things, for example. And the benefits of EFT are so many. For example, people use it to diminish physical pain, as well as, of course, the emotional pains. And over the years, since we were children, our parents and our friends and our families told us things that weren't very nice to hear, as in my case as well. And over the years, when they keep repeating these things, it actually goes deeper. It goes deep into our subconscious, and it actually shapes our emotional well-being through the years. So these things started off usually when you were still a child, and as you grew up and you had other not so nice experiences, those as well were put into your subconscious, and they actually shape the way you behave towards your colleagues, your loved ones, your child, your partner. So these things that we've experienced from a long time ago, since we were children, since you were a child, till today, they actually help shape your personality today. And so first download the PDF file, and you want to start with the roots. Now, these 4 segments of your tree, we call it the tapping tree. The tree symbolizes your entire spiritual, psychic well-being. And so what you want to do is first go one by one. Do this in a very quiet place where you can meditate and you're not interrupted by anything. And if you trust somebody well enough, that you trust their opinion about what they see in you, then have them join you if you're comfortable with that, and they can help you to do these exercises much better. So first, what you have to do is you have to start with your roots, and your roots are your self-limiting beliefs that you have today, like I'm not smart enough, I don't deserve success in life, I don't deserve goodness in life, things like of that nature. So what you want to do in this segment, in the roots, you want to list out as much as you can. Now, the most important thing about this is self-honesty. The more honest you are about yourself and what you're able to write down on paper, the better. Because this will actually help diminish all these things that are dictating your behaviors these days, how you feel, basically. So the more you can write down, the better. And have your friend, if you trust that partner or friend, to help you write this list. So on the roots part, you want to write all your self-limiting beliefs, one by one. Once you're done with that, this may take days, this may take a week to fill all these 4 sections out. So once you're done with the roots, go on to the trunk. And in the trunk, you want to write down, since you were a child, all the unpleasant and or traumatic events that you've experienced. You want to write these all out in that form. And if you need to, grab another piece of paper and fill it out. Be as complete as possible. Then in your branches, you want to write down the emotions that you felt experiencing those events, those unpleasant, traumatic events. And again, be as thorough, be as complete as possible with the branches segment. And then in the leaves segment, you want to write down right now your signs and symptoms of what you're experiencing these days. For example, poor sleep, anxiety, some pains that you have, headaches, for example. Write all these out. And so all these items that you write down in all these 4 sections, right, you want to work on each and every one of them one at a time. One at a time until you start to diminish the effect, the negative effects of each of these items that you have written down in these 4 sections of your tree. And so, for example, you want to, let's say, for example, let's start with one item on your roots part, self-limiting beliefs. Like, for example, somebody told you you're not good enough, right? So in emotional freedom technique, we use touching the face. And what that does, combined with self-positive affirmations, it reinforces and reprograms your subconscious. And when you do this for days, day after day, every week, you make this a morning ritual, you start to diminish all the negative effects and negative programming of what you've experienced in the past. So tapping goes like this. First, let me show you the tapping motions. First, you do the karate chop. Do this 5 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you move next to the top of the eyes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then side of the eyes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bottom of the eyes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And above the nose, below the nose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On the chin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Collarbone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then under the armpits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Top of the head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you take 3 deep breaths. I'm just showing you now, okay? We're not going through the motion yet. And then, after the 3 deep breaths, rate how strong the feelings are. So, 1 to 10, 10 being the strongest and most negative. So, let's start one cycle of tapping, okay? For example, someone told you that you weren't good enough. So, somebody told me that I was not good enough. Or maybe your father told you. Okay, so my father told me that I was not good enough. But he was wrong. I am good enough and more. He was just telling me these things because he was feeling like he wasn't good enough. And I was the unfair target at that moment because he lacked courage to see himself. I'm a total loving being, and I absolutely, totally accept myself, and I am good enough. Okay, then you rate it from 1 to 10, 10 being the strongest, most negative. Let's say that was still painful, like an 8 or a 9 or a 10. Okay, then you start again, and you start the statements again, and you repeat it, and you reinforce it, and be creative. Okay, so my father told me that I was not good enough, but he was just feeling sorry for himself. I'm actually absolutely good enough, and I deserve good love, and I deserve acceptance, and I totally and positively accept myself as being absolutely good enough. And the more you repeat this, the better. And let's say that was a little bit less. Let's say the strength was maybe a 7 or a 6. And I guarantee you, the more you repeat these cycles at a moment, at a time, the more you repeat it, the feelings start to get less and less and less negative. And then when it starts to be a rating of like a 1 or a 2, you move on to the next negative item on your list, in your roots, for example. And then you reaffirm with positive statements. For example, I am an absolutely good enough person. I'm intelligent, loving, and kind human being, and my father was just simply feeling sorry for himself, and he didn't have the courage to direct his frustrations onto himself. But I'm a total loving and good enough being. And always you rate. Okay, let's say that was a 4. And you keep repeating this, until you start to feel the strength go down to a 1 or a 2. And then you move on to the next item. And then you can reinforce the positivity by just saying complete positive statements like, I am good enough, I am good enough, I absolutely believe that I deserve the best love, and things of that nature. Yeah. Be creative with your statements. Don't be overly exaggerated, don't go, I'm the best, that's fake, You have to be absolutely sincere and loving to yourself, right? So once you finish with all the items in your roots, move on to the next section. Can be the leaves, can be the branches, can be the trunk, So, for example, let's say a leaf, right? Let's say you're feeling nervous about something. Like, I write sometimes for publishing houses, so I tend to be anxious, right? So maybe let's just give an example of my angst, right? But of course you have your own sets of different items on your leaves. So right now I am nervous. Right now I am nervous for my next writing project, but I know that I have the skills and the knowledge to fully complete these writing assignments. So I'm actually just nervous for nothing. I'm just exaggerating my nervousness, and I just should trust in my skills, that I know that I write very well, and most people have confidence in my writing skills. And if it's still strong, like a 10, keep repeating and repeating until it's a 1 or a 2. And then you move on to the next item. So this is EFT, basically reprogramming constantly, repeatedly, so that these negative feelings that you have start to diminish. And people who have actual physical pains, like backaches, headaches, because the placebo effect is working, is a real phenomenon. So this actually works with physical pain as well. So yeah, so in order for you to start your journey on your healing of your total body and your mindset, this is one of the first steps is EFT. So yeah, so if you have any questions, please write to me, and thank you. Bye.